Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of the 3D'S, no dick, no dope, no donuts. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Empress in regards to the tarot and that archetype and how it showed up in the hip hop era. And Elle, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, so we're here today again with Reverend Tiny and Lord Nicole Haldane, your producer for today for this podcast. And we just want to make sure to plug in that you can book your sessions for recovery life coaching. The links will be in the description for where you need to book, with our first session being $54 for 6 sessions and 8 sessions for hour sessions. That's 108, which totals out to 844. So when you get an opportunity and you feel like you're ready to work with our Dr. Reverend Tiny, yes, indeed, go ahead and make sure you book your appointment.
Thank you, Elle. So, 50 years of hip hop, the trauma left behind, and the Empress. And I want to show you the Empress card. That part. I was all prepared. The Empress, she really just embodies beauty, elegance, love, nurturing. And this is the Empress card out of the African tarot deck that I use a lot. Everything she touches turns to gold. She's like the Midas touch. The sun is behind her. She rules her village with love. Everything grows. The Empress has a way of talking to people where she just gets things done. She's not aggressive or abrasive. She's just beautiful. Everybody sees her, they love her automatically. And I think about how being a mother and how my mother nurtured me some days. Because let's be honest, we have good and bad days. So I'm not going to act like every day is shit and giggles, because it's not. But when you embody that beautiful spirit, it's always, the light is always on. Somebody's always home and ready to receive you and take you in. And I think about the Empress in hip hop, like Erykah Badu and Missy Elliott. And you want to mention some?
Yeah, I got some personal favorites, especially ones who I felt like raised me. Like you already mentioned Missy Elliott, but Erykah Badu and Lauryn Hill. And you also have that Sister Soldier as well in there, MC Light.
Definitely. And Sugar Tea. That quality, you don't find in all females. Every female is not an empress. But when we find the love and the nurturing of one, we need to embrace it and respect it and keep that moving forward and teach our young girls how that is, what it looks like, what it smells like, how it acts. It's an energy that we should work with more. I find now today in the youth in society, it's derogatory and it's disrespectful on all levels, spiritual, physical, emotional. And I'd like to bring that back, call that natural Empress energy back, because it's a teacher energy as well. And we got to be the ones to teach the next 3 generations or however long we around to embody that beautiful spirit, the wisdom in behind being an Empress, knowing when to shut up, knowing how to follow directions, knowing how to be submissive, knowing when not to be submissive, especially when the the epidemic that was placed upon our people, we lost sight of that. Being casualties of war, trying to just break out of jail, and I use that as an analogy of fighting, fighting for your life, fighting to survive. Our power was taken away from us, and it's not our fault. So the ones who rose to the top, thank God. And the ones who fell to the bottom, we're going to lift a hand up and say, come on, we right here. And it's not about an even playing ground, but it's about looking at each other equally, because neither one of us is no better than the other in this epidemic of what we call life. It's a game, and how you play it. Some win, some lose. But when you got a draw, I like to play poker, so sometimes you got to call a truce. Sometimes you got to just give up and be, okay, I'm defeated. I can't win. And a lot of that happened during the crack epidemic. A lot of us lost. We lost our lives. We lost children, mothers, brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles. Like, we've lost family, and not by our own hands. Police violence, drama. And it's like placing blame where blame goes. That's a lot, because we didn't ask for dope to be in our communities, right? Where we got the helicopters to fly it in at, or planes and the boats. We're not in control. It was really an epidemic and a war placed upon us, a chemical war, whatever you want to call it. It was a war amongst our people. And thank God we have some empress. I think about Lena Horne and Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday was an idol that I grew up with. And I knew, watching that movie, what is that? Lady Sings the Blues. That my king, my knight in shining armor, was always gonna save me, because my favorite part was when Billy D came and got her out of the rehab. And she was like, home. I'm like, yes, we're gonna go home. But we need our black men, right? He didn't beat her up about being on the dope and all that. He was like, I'm gonna help you. And that's what he did. And whatever happened in the story is the story. But in that episode, what I seen was a black man stepping up to help his woman. Can we do this more? Like, really, can we help our black women? Can we uplift the black women up to humanity, sovereignty? Because that's what an empress is. So it's not about she did this and she did that. It's about coming together as a collective now. I was going to say something else, but I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Hey, no worries. I appreciate this uplifting of that energy, that archetype. And I'm curious about, along the food's journey, how does that play a part? If I came into this world as a man, how do I embody that along my food's journey, embody that feminine energy?
I'm glad you asked that question. And I think about my sons, and then I think about here in Africa, where if you wear pink, you're gay. If you cry, you're not a man. If you take care and if you stay home and you watch your children, that's not a man's job. Energy is energy. It's hot, it's cold. I was gonna say short and tall, that didn't make sense. It's negative and positive. The whole thing is duality, yin and yang. That's why it's white and black, but they come together. It's duality. You can't have a man without a feminine side, because we're both. Some days I'm a little bit more mannish because I've been in a situation where I had to be mannish. Some days I'm really, really feminine. But when we recognize it in a brother and say, he might not be gay, and that's what I found out here. that these men are just, they walk around, kind of switching, and you think they soft. They're not gay. They just in touch with their feminine side, and it's not demonized here. In America, everything that black men, to make a black man whole, like crying and showing emotions, is demonized.
Mm.
One thing I like about being in Africa, I can see 5 black men in a car with hoodies and a cap, and know that they're not gonna get shot. Just the fact that it was 5 of them, I was like, oh wow, what's gonna happen? I'm like, I'm in Africa. The police ain't chasing them. The police are black here.
Mm.
There's a freedom that's in Africa that we don't have in America, right? If something happens and they cry, they cry. They do it in their communities. It's not demonized, and I'm gonna just leave it like that because I taught my own children, my sons, that we eat tears for lunch. I didn't know how to raise a man, right? I got my son, he whatever. I'm really young. And I'm thinking, I don't want you to be no punk. I don't want you to be taken advantage of.
Mm.
And NWA raised him. Like, let's be honest, that was my error. That's what kind of foolishness I was on, but I was young, and so I gave myself forgiveness, and now I'm coming back to say, hey, can we start over? Can we pick it up? I'm still your mother. There's due respect. Just don't fuck over me. And we as parents sometimes get that in that hip hop and crack epidemic where the respect crosses the line way too much. Right?
Mm.
There needs to be barriers. An empress, when you see an empress is yes, ma'am, how can I? You hold the door. There's things that you automatically do. When you see an emperor, or there's things that you automatically do when you see a man in a suit or well dressed in his attire. I like to see that back, right? I like to see us giving respect and honor where there's honor to be had.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, and that sounds like moving, as we talk about it, moving beyond that casualty of war, right?
Moving beyond that, yes. Yes, and we have to, because if we stay in this stagnant state, it's not going to get better. And we got to do better for these babies that's coming up. There's babies that want to throw paper at the elders and tell their father you stupid and shut up. Stuff that I've seen in the like, that ain't right. Ain't nowhere in hell that's right. Or the videos I've seen my grandchildren watch. It was like they don't need to be watching that. That's just totally disrespectful.
Mm.
Matter of fact, you ain't gonna watch it with me. Let's get some books. I'm good for the color crayons and color books. We're gonna go all the way back. Pencils. But then again,
Yeah, I
that's
get that.
yeah.
So reinstating that Empress energy looks like a new movement and a new way of being that goes beyond just being at war.
I like to think that the new black love is loving ourselves and our people in its totality, all from head to toe, your rusty, crusty toes. Like, let's just get along. Let's love each other. Let's bring respect, give respect, do respect. When it's due, give it.
Perfect timing. Moving on to our next section, our next segment. Want to take a moment to just uplift Black Jewel tarot reading. Learn a little bit more about the Empress. Learn a little bit more about the High Priestess, the Food Journey, the Magician, all we've covered thus far. And then there's still much more to be learned. What you're reading. In the description, there'll be a link to book with the first sessions for 30 minutes being at $54 and our sessions being at $108.
I think my computer's
On
glitched.
to our next segment. We just, kind of ask that question, you know, what spiritual practices we highlight to really help usher in that spirit that we talked about.
The first thing came to my mind is gold. Gold is a precious stone. Niggas love their gold, and that's why they wear it, because it uplifts the spirit. But I have a smoky quartz, and this is a healing crystal. And I advise everybody to start using crystals, holding them, bring out the love. Let me read see, I have my flashlight on and I turned it off. Getting old is something else, right? Don't tell
It's a
nobody.
beautiful process, right?
The lights are dim in here. Psychologically, smoky quartz reveals fears, lifts depression, and brings emotional calmness. It alleviates suicidal tendencies. I'm trying to read, and the glare of the light is getting to me. Suicidal tendencies. Smoky quartz aids in acceptance of the physical body and the sexual nature. We touched on that, embodying the feminine and the negative. I mean, negative, the positive, masculine. Sorry, where's it at? Enhancing vitality and cleansing the base chakra, which is your root chakra, so that passion can flow naturally. This crystal alleviates nightmares and manifest your dreams. When it comes into contact with your negative motion, it gently dissolves them. Mentally, smoky quartz promotes positive, pragmatic thought and can be used in scaring negative energy to give clear insight and to neutralize fear of failure. It dissolves contradictions, promotes concentration, and alleviates communication difficulties. Smoky quartz facilitates moving between alpha and beta states of mind and aids clearing the mind for meditation. It's getting dark here, so the lights are low. So that's one that I like to use. You see how much it's helped me tonight. I only fumbled 3 times, right? Ha ha ha. But let me. I can't. There I go. Turn off that.
We
So
fumble forward, right? We fumble forward.
we'll fumble forward. So moving forward with a smoky quartz, in the spiritual practice, you can meditate with it. It's good to have around you during meditation. Place it by your water. Speaking to your water. Place it up under your pillow. Place it on your nightstand while you sleep. I've placed them up under my pillow. I have a few that I sleep with, but they do help. And I want to say this: the power is in believing. You got to believe for anything to work. And it's like, shoot, I think I could fly some days. I believe in myself. So get you some smoky quartz. I thought that would be a nice segue to go into a different healing modality of spirituality. Some people don't really believe in the effects of crystals and how they can really activate the chakra system, your emotions. They're really nice. I've used them. I've used them a lot in my healing journey, and I swear by them. Um, put them in your baths, especially in your love baths, your spiritual baths that you do on Sunday or Saturday or Friday, whenever you take your spiritual baths. Place smoky quartz in your bath. Like, you won't regret it. I'll say that. You will not regret it.
Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for imparting wisdom and sharing wisdom with us. Wanted to make our final plug for our advertisements for today. We have a free S.O.S. Lifeline meditation. What's our S.O.S. stand for?
Solutions for the soul.
Come on now.
Power to
Every Thursday, every Monday. Come join us. The link, the times, and the Zoom meeting ID and password are in the description. Go ahead and take a look. Now add it to your schedule. We would love to see you. We'd love to have you.
So family, thanks for joining me for another episode of the 3Ds, no dick, no dope, no donuts. Just don't tell nobody. We'll see you next week.